Hello and welcome to this episode of You Can Get There From Here. I'm Dr. Joe Moore, Chair of the Department of Communication and Digital Media Production at the University of Central Missouri, and it's my pleasure every week to get to sit down and visit with some of our alumni. I talk to those who got their degree in communication studies, some who got a bachelor's degree in digital media production, and others who got their master's degree. Today, I'm talking to two in one. Say hello to Stephanie Rogers. Stephanie got her bachelor's degree in communication studies, and then she stuck around and got her master's degree. Today, she is working over in the Elliott Student Union as the marketing and communications manager. And Stephanie, it is so funny to be talking to you on Zoom when you're right across the mall, but I can't record right across the mall. So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we're so excited to have you. And so I'm going to start out. I want to get a little backstory because we've had a lot of story with you here at UCM. But talk to us a little bit about your background, where you went to school, where you went to high school, what brought you here to UCM, and what motivated you to get into the communication field.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually had a really non-traditional education growing up. So I was homeschooled for most of my education. And when I was 9, my dad actually had a heart transplant. So that kind of derailed a lot of my homeschooling and education and things, as it would having like a parent have a heart transplant. He's doing
Sure.
amazing now. He's had his new heart for 21 years, so he's about to break the record for longest heart transplant patient, which is amazing.
That's
But
pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. So as hard as reached the legal drinking age. He's
yeah,
21.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he can start having fun now. Um,
But it's good to hear that he's doing well.
Yes, he's doing great, but naturally during that time, if your parents are the ones educating you and your parents are both kind of derailed with kind of a health emergency, that kind of derailed my education a little bit. No fault of them, obviously, just life happens. But because of that, I kind of fell behind. Also, today I realize I also have ADHD, so that also put an added layer there. So for me, college was like, this isn't an option for me. I really believed that some people who went to college, there was something special about them. Like, oh, those are the smart, special people. They go to college. I'm not smart or special. I'm not going to do that. So I didn't even think about it as an option until 3 years after my peers. So I graduated high school in 2013, and then in 2016, I decided to come to UCM and try to see, you know what, maybe I am smart and special. Let's see if this will work out. And comm was like the perfect place for me. So that's kind of how I ended up in comm. And then with that kind of thought process of like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do this, like, how can I get through all this kind of thing? um, Communication studies was honestly like really transformative for me. I used to be like very shy, very reserved, all of that. And comm studies really brought me out of my shell and taught me so much. And I credit a lot of who I am today to the comm department and the professors and my peers that were with me there as well, and all of that. So, yeah.
Man, that is an amazing story of resilience. You talk about mom and dad having the health issues and battling through ADHD. I have a son with ADHD, so I know exactly what that's like and the challenges to overcome there. And you took the 3 gap years between graduating high school and starting college. What did you do during that time?
So that time I was working full time in my town. So in Higginsville, Missouri, it's a really small town. I was working as a cashier at a grocery store, and I was kind of just ordering supplies for them, doing all that, just working full time for those 3 years. And I kind of, over time, I was like, I kind of don't want to do this forever. Um, and I was like, what are my options here? I was like, well, I've already assessed like college isn't for me, like I'm not smart enough, not special enough. And so I was like, maybe I could challenge that thought process a little bit. And with a lot of like support from my then boyfriend, now husband, and because he was in college and he had been in college for 3 years, and I was like, wait a minute, if you're doing this,
Right.
maybe I could do
Yep.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
I think sometimes we're the ones that put up our own obstacles that we maybe doubt ourselves a little bit. So I'm glad that you were able to sit back and reflect on that and say, you know what, I am smart enough. You kind of talked yourself into it, it sounds like.
oh yeah, I had to do like almost white knuckle it to even just go to my first classes those days. And it's really crazy though, because now I think back, and public speaking terrified me. I was horrified to do that. I was like, let's just take it my first semester and get it over with. And that ended up being my favorite class, I think, of almost all of my classes. I loved that class. And then Comp 1 and 2 were also really transformative, where it was like getting to write and do all of that. And then I really did bounce a lot around with my major. And at first I was interior design and then graphic design, and then I was a photography major. And then I realized I was like, all of these majors are lacking something that I'm wanting, and I don't want to be pinholed into only being a photographer or a designer or an interior designer. I want to have options that are really broad for me. What can I even do? And that's when studies, I learned about it and was like, wait, this broadens all of my options. I can be a graphic designer with a major. I can be a photographer with a major. I can do all of these. I can write because I loved Comp 1 and 2. I was like, I can write in communication studies. So it gave me the option to not pinhole myself into one thing.
I'm sorry. I'm just loving this because there is no one right way to college. It's not always the right fit for somebody to come right out of high school and go to college. And sometimes we need to have that village around us to encourage us. And good on your now husband, your boyfriend at the time, for encouraging you. And good on you for recognizing you are special. We all have something special about us. You are smart enough to do this. It's just taking that first step and then recognizing this is something I can do, and everything you had to overcome to get here. Something I didn't know all this. I'm loving hearing your story of resilience and that internal fortitude that just kind of pushed you and motivated you and got you going. And maybe it took you a couple of tries to figure out, okay, what is it that I want? And I'm so glad you found it with us because you're right. You can be a photographer, you can be an interior designer, you can be a marketing and communications director with a communication studies degree. It's so varied. It's just then finding what's the specific industry you want to get into, and that's where you are. Were there things that you were involved in, clubs and organizations or things like that you were involved in when you were in college that helped you? So once you got the communication studies and you decided that's what you were missing, that's what you wanted was building those skills, were there things that helped point you toward working at a university setting and then working in the Learning Commons and in the union?
Yeah, so I worked as a student worker in the Elliott Student Union all 4 years of college, and I really loved it. My manager at the time, Dan Plott, he was giving me my tour on my first day and was like, "Oh man, like the union is the best place to work on campus. You're gonna love this." And that was awesome to get to work there. I was a building supervisor, and then I've also worked at their information desk and kind of all over. So learning those like communication skills to be able to kind of do building security and then also give information out at the information desk was really helpful to do both of those things at once.
Boy, you hit the boss jackpot if you had Dan Plott when you were a student, one of the
Yes.
best people I've ever known. And now you're
Mm-hmm.
working with Kim Nickus, right?
Yep.
And you struck gold. You did
I
really
know.
well in the MOSFET category.
Yes, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I've just loved getting to work in the union as a student, and then even as a graduate assistant, I got to work in the union as well. But I did their events and then their social media marketing.
Okay. Well, so you got a little bit of experience as an undergraduate and as a graduate student to get you ready for this part of your career. But before this part, you were in the Learning Commons. You worked there in did you tell me the Writing Center? Is that where it was? Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. So right as soon as I graduated with my master's degree in comm, I immediately got a position in the Learning Commons as the Writing Center manager, which was so awesome. I really loved getting to support students the way that I needed support. So that felt really full circle and really, really fun in that sense. That's also when I was introduced to university foundations class. So part of that job was teaching university foundations. And if you had asked me my first day of college, would you be teaching a orientation class? I would be like, never, never doing that. You couldn't pay me to do that. And now that was what I was getting paid to do is teach this orientation class on why you should come to college, why UCM is awesome, all of these things.
So it turns out they could pay you to do that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Do you feel like you had a little something extra to add to that class because you started a little bit later, because you had to overcome a little bit of self-doubt, some obstacles in your past? Do you feel like you had a little something extra that really could use to inspire new students?
I hope so. I always mention to my class that I am a first generation college student and I'm a non-traditional college student, and that every path is a viable option and that you're not behind. So that was a big motivator for me is I always would feel like, oh, I'm 3 years behind my peers. I'm falling behind, I'm running behind. And just letting all of these students know it's like you're never behind and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. I think that really helps them in their college journeys be like, okay, all of them have such unique backgrounds and different starting places. So that message of like you're not behind, you're right where you're supposed to be is kind of what I would share.
Yeah, everybody's journey is different. My journey was not your journey. Your journey was not this student's journey. We've all got to figure out how we're going to get there and what our path is going to be. And I really think, honestly, that you were the ideal person to be teaching that, to share that and motivate them to understand that. And so the girl who graduated high school and said, "I'm just not smart enough for college," went on right after that bachelor's degree and got a master's degree, correct?
Yes. And
Yeah,
that's
you went straight
again,
through, right?
yeah, I didn't take any breaks. It was 2020 when I got my comm degree and I felt ready and prepared to get my master's in comm from the foundation that I had in comm. And I was so happy that I was able to do that because, again, if you'd asked me then, I would have said, no way. There's barely any chance I'm going to get through these 4 years. And honestly, every year that I did in comm studies, I was like, oh, I'm much more prepared for this. I can do this. I'm ready for this. And so I went right into my master's program, and that was 2 years. And so once I graduated with that, I felt just really proud of myself that I had accomplished this and come so far, and it felt very full circle.
Well, yeah, you should be proud of it because that's quite an achievement. First generation student, non-traditional student, and you rolled right through there and got that master's degree. What made you decide to go for the graduate degree?
I think partially it was COVID. There was a lot of just kind of uncertainty in job fields, and people were either on hiring freezes or there was a lot of layoffs. It was kind of just an unsettling time in 2020 where we really didn't know what was going to happen or the state of the world or anything. So I really took that into like consideration and was like, you know what? Like, I think I would rather do this than try to just kind of push through COVID times in the workforce. But also, apart from that, I really wanted to equip myself with more skills and more abilities to be able to do things like teach the foundations course and do more things like that and expand my knowledge and skills in that way.
What was your research area?
So I heavily focused on social influence in media, and um, I loved my research class with Dr. Pinnell. Getting to do research was amazing and so eye-opening. Even in my undergrad, my research methods class with Dr. Graves, that set my foundation for my class with Dr. Pinnell, and it like they bounced off each other, and it was just perfect having learned about it in my undergrad, and then for my master's, I was really able to focus on the research, and I really focused on women's issues and women's health, and then also how social media impacts that.
Good. That's some good stuff right there. So the big question now is for the girl who wasn't going to go to college, for the girl you couldn't pay to work in the Learning Center or the Learning Commons, for the girl who didn't think she was going to make it to graduate school, going to go for the PhD.
So that is something I have thought about, and I'm just not certain. I've thought a lot about teaching and that being part of my journey and things. So that's kind of the allure there with that. But right now with my master's, I feel really equipped to be able to teach certain classes at UCM, and then also with my marketing and communications at the union, I feel really equipped with that now. So it's definitely an option out there for me, but it's kind of on pause.
It's never too late. I think I started mine, oh gosh, how old was I? I was older. Let's put it that way. It had been 17 years since I was a graduate. I got my master's degree and I got my PhD, so it can still be out there for you. Don't discount it. I mean, you've proven time and again, never say never because there you are, right? So good on you. What is your why? Why do you do what you do?
So for me in my current role, my biggest why is supporting the student employees that I have. So I have 11 students that report back to me, and I just want to make sure that they feel like equipped and ready for everything they're doing, not only at work at the union, but also in their classes, just in their life in general. My main goal is always to make sure the students that I work with feel supported, they feel like they have a good work school balance, and I just want to make sure that they have the best time at the union because I had the best time at the union. And yeah, I know I had great managers like Kim Nickus and Dan Plott, and I just want to emulate that for them. So, yeah.
You and I do share one commonality in our stories, and that's that we went straight from the undergrad, straight to the grad, straight to working in the college setting. And I've spent in my professional career of 31 years, 8 months not working at a university. It was awful. I got
Yeah.
that. I get that energy from being on a campus, and I can tell that you have that passion for working with college students and encouraging college students and helping them become who they're going to be. And they could not have a better advocate than Stephanie Rogers. You're doing a great job. So before I let
Thanks.
you get out of here, I need you to just spell it out for them. What is a piece of advice you would give to a current UCM student in communication, whether that be their bachelor's degree or their master's degree? And what would you tell to somebody thinking about coming to UCM to study communication?
I would tell them that they should absolutely do it because I had a fantastic experience in my communication program. The support that the UCM Com program has is unmatched. I've talked to peers that are in different majors, and they say, "Oh, I like it. I love it. It's good, but there's something special about the comm department, and we really do all have each other's backs, and we're all there for each other. And it really is just amazing. So I would say go for it, find where you fit, and it's going to be awesome.
Excellent. What about for a current student? What advice would you give them as they're wrapping up their college degree and getting ready to go out into the real world?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest thing is be yourself. Um, don't feel like you have to put on any fronts of anything. Just kind of stay true to who you are, but also be open to learn new things and learn on the job. Or, uh, yeah, I'd say those are the main two things. Just be yourself and then stay open to learning.
You be you, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Stephanie, thank you for being on today. UCM is a better place for having you here. You are an ideal advocate for our students. You're a cheerleader for them, and I'm so grateful for all you bring to my university because, this is my alma mater, and everything you've done for our programs, for our students. We're proud of you for everything you're doing. Keep it up.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
And thanks all of you for tuning in today. Remember, you can catch every episode on our YouTube channel through the UCM Media Network. That's youtube.com/UCMMN. You can also listen on Spotify. Special thanks to Jake Mager for creating our theme music for us. This is Dr. Joe Moore reminding you, you can get there from here. Have a great day.